Now then, everybody. Right, well, I realised that I couldn't risk letting this bike go and doing you guys the disservice of not rigging up my old helmet with the perfect audio to show you this glorious sound without all that crappy wind noise that my new setup's creating. I hate it! This video is going to be a bit about the Speed Triple and a lot about the importance of good sound, good audio for your recordings. There's nothing worse than perfect visuals and crappy sound. So stay tuned and we'll have a chat about the importance of good audio as we go for a little ride on this Speed Triple that's not with me for much longer. See you in a sec. Roll that intro. Welcome folks, thank you. My name's Richa Arc, welcome to the channel. Oops, a bit gravelly there. Right, so yeah, I had to put this helmet on to show off the sound of this bike properly, because that new setup I've got is just, I cannot get on with it at all. It's driving me crackers, and I do take a lot of pride in the audio quality on my channel. This is a decent mic that's in this one, connected to the Hero 4 camera, and what I've done with my new lid, decided to, you know, change to the Hero 8 for a bit better visual. Not to say there's anything really wrong with the 4 at all, but anyway, it's just made me realise I've tweaked and tweaked and tweaked, and I cannot get the sound right at all, and I've spent too much money already and spent far too much time doing things that should sort it out. So the mic that's in the mic that's in my new setup is a Shure mic. I think it's about 80 quid for the lav mic, when you can get lav mics for £1, so you know that's expensive. It's got a Rycote pop filter on, which this mic has. It's also got a dead cat over the top of that, and it still just picks up far too much wind noise. Now that could be something to do with the helmet and the Hero 8 with the media mod thing on it. And I can't use this mic in that with that camera, because this has got the 4 connection and the 8 connection is totally different, so I can't use it. But I just cannot get on with it. I cannot get on with it at all. I think this mic that's in here cost about 60 quid, and it's just plugged direct into the camera with a Rycote pop shield on it. That's it. And the sound is perfect all the time. Again, there's 3 combinations there. You've got the mic, the camera, and the lid. It's a shame. I just can't get, you know, I just can't get on with it. It's spoiling all my recent videos, and once I've gone to the trouble of recording it, I just want to be able to, you know, publish it. So I'm having to do loads of EQing and audio restoration just to try and fix the mess that it's left. You'll notice the difference in this video in the sound quality. It's night and day difference. Is the image quality lacking any? I know the stabilization on this camera is non-existent, I think, or if it is existent, then it's not much at all. But do we need that? I don't know. All these questions. But I'll tell you something, there's nothing more disheartening than going out and creating something to then realise that the audio is rubbish. Audio is far more important than visual, and this bike deserves perfect audio. When I've been trying to show off the sound on the other videos, it's just ruined by wind. I'm confident with this camera. It's never let me down. It's rock solid in terms of performance. You will also be able to hear the squeaking brakes. Cannot get rid of these squeaking brakes. Right, listen in a minute. Hardly any wind noise, and you'll hear the rasp of the bike beautifully. See? Should I just go back to the 4 and keep force feeding it batteries? Because I've got to admit, I hate the look of the media mod. It just looks stupid and big. It just makes things, well, it's supposed to make things convenient, but as it's turning out, it's not, is it? I said, well, sit in the middle of the road, lads, why don't you? It's not as if you can't take bike. Good lad, cute. There's no denying that the 8 visual is beautiful, but there's nothing wrong with the 4. Yeah, that front brake is very annoying. It hasn't stopped squeaking since I've had it. There's nothing more pleasing than to listen to a video that's got lovely audio in every respect. Speech is clear, music's nice, you know, everything's got its place within the audio spectrum. When it's not right, it just sounds terrible, and personally, you know, I just switch off. If I'm watching something that sounds terrible, I'll just switch off, because I've dealt with a lot of audio for a lot of years with music production and things. It's been like part of my job to, you know, correct dodgy audio, but it's got to be good at source. I'll still, even on all my videos, you know, I do a certain amount of colour correction, post-production work with once all the edits finished, then I'll do like all the colour correction, and then I'll finish off the sound correction. So I'll EQ, put a low pass filter on at the very end, which gets rid of all the deep tones that your ears can't really hear anyway, but it just cleans up all the audio. Then I'll put a compressor on it, so I'll do some light compression to bring all the volumes into check, so all the really quiet parts of the audio will be slightly lifted and all the really high parts will be dropped slightly, so it brings it all into more of an even, pleasurable listening space, if that makes sense. And then at the end of that, I will put a limiter on it, so nothing can go over 0 dB, but it also helps to bring the overall volume to the correct 0 dB. Because again, if your volume is too hot, it's constantly peaking, and that's a lot of the problem with the Hero 8. The signal that's going into the camera, or the signal that the camera is producing, is too hot. I'd much rather record any kind of audio way under volume, because then I could do the restoration work afterwards to lift the volumes where I wanted them, and it'd be perfectly clear. Again, that's like your back to photography, you know, with your shadows and highlights. That's why I'll always shoot dark, because the information retained in the dark can be retrieved. So if it looks too dark, you can lift the shadows in post-production. If you shoot for the scene, let's say it's sunny, or you're doing a sunset or something like that, you shoot for the scene. Hang on a sec. Yeah, you shoot for the scene. You're blowing out. You'll blow the highlights, and if you blow the highlights out, you can't retrieve them. Once they're burnt out, that's it. You can't retrieve them. So shoot under to protect the highlights, and lift the shadows to correct the correct exposure. It's the same for audio. You want to be recording under volume, really, so you can correct it afterwards. Once it's over and it's peaking and clipping, anything that's producing over 0 dB will be clipping, and you'll get red warnings everywhere on your EQ meter or your sound meter or whatever. So it's always better to shoot under. That's the problem with that camera, is that it records too hot. Camera or mic or lid, I don't know. It just records far too hot, resulting in rubbish audio. And once it's peaked and clipped and sounds distorted and horrible, you can't repair it, because it's all distorted and it's clipped. You can lower the volume, but it'll still be clipped and sound all distorted, just at a lower volume. You'd be surprised what you can do with EQs. I'll have to do a video on it one time. That's another thing that I've noticed with the Hero 8. So I've got this media mod, and I've also got the light, the studio light that comes with for the media mod, so you can put light on your subject, like a little LED light. With the LED light attached to the media mod, it produces a bloody, I think it's around about 5,000 hertz, a tiny peak of audio, so it's going all the way through it. So you've got to pinch out that frequency and pull it out. Once it's pulled out, because like I said before, everything's got its space in the audio spectrum. You pull that little frequency out, it's not there anymore. So it's easy to sort out. It shouldn't be there though, should it? It shouldn't be interfering with the camera and the audio within the camera to create an audio anomaly that shouldn't be there, you know what I mean? But yeah, nothing pleases me more when I've done a video than having really nice audio to work with. I made the decision to put my heated gloves on today, because last time I went out on this, at this temperature, I was bloody freezing. My body's not bad. I've got my bullring Furygan jacket on, and it's got a thermal layer into it as well, so I'm perfectly warm up top, but my fingers are freezing. So I put my heated gloves on, and I purposefully didn't turn them on, so I could, one, preserve battery, and two, see just how different they are once they're fired up. So that's what we'll do. We're going to fire them up now, because my fingertips are about ready to be snapped off. Can we do this on the fly? Let's have a look. Press and hold. Yep, we're on. Right, let's see how long they take to get warm and what they feel like. I can feel them already. My fingertips are not cold already. Bloody hell, that was quick. I found sometimes if you switch them on straight away, you know, when you're at home, you don't really know, do you? You don't really know what they're doing, if they're doing anything, because your hands are just warm, so your brain's not telling you that your hands are cold. That's why I put them on and just left them off, just to see. Yeah, they're perfectly fine now. That took about, what, 20 seconds? My hands are perfectly fine now. I'm not saying they're warm yet, they're not warm, but they're not cold. And before, they were hurting that were cold. Clever stuff. Tickets, folks, for the weekend are selling out very, very fast now. Now I've had the good news and the go-ahead, I'm getting multiple sales every single day, so if you are thinking of coming, please don't leave it too late. And I'm very chuffed to be able to say it looks like it's going to be a sellout. But yeah, don't leave it too late if you are thinking of coming. I haven't had a count up yet, but we're well over 3/4 of tickets gone already. So for those that are coming, thank you very much, and I cannot wait to see you all, party with you all. It's going to be mega. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and sit at my bench for a photograph of this beautiful, beautiful machine. I can't actually remember what's due to come next, folks, from Triumph. I've got this for another 2 weeks. I know the Trident is on the cards, and I also know that the new 1200 RS speed triple's on the cards, and I can't wait for that one. If that is anything like this one, and by all accounts it's better, then that is going to be one hell of a machine. Yeah, very much looking forward to trying that one. This is a brilliant bike. I love it. These Arrow exhausts just sound incredible. People keep asking me what exhaust I'm going to put on the Africa Twin. I don't want to put a different exhaust on, but if anybody's got any recommendations, Africa Twin owners, I do know that one of the guys that came with us on a Pecos trip a couple of years ago, he had the Africa Twin and he had a Remus Carbon, and that sounded fantastic. Like it, every time I could hear it, I was like, oh, bloody hell, that sounds good. And the Africa Twin sounds good anyway, sounds very good. What's the word on the street for that bike? So as you know, I'm a fresh owner to that. It's alright riding it, but when you're an owner, you look at things different, don't you? And I found a video, I can't remember where now, but I found like a comparison video, it might have been YouTube, and there was the Krapovich sounded good, and the Arrow for that bike sounded fantastic. Like I say, I don't know what the word on the street is, so if anybody's got any recommendations out there, do let me know, and I'll look into it. It's lovely and light, this is, as well. Go and have 10 minutes down at my bench that I've not been to since last autumn, just to listen to a bit of peace and quiet. Thankfully nobody's here. Troughs are full. I'll tell you what I do keep doing with this. When I put the side stand down, I keep catching the gear lever and bloody knocking it into first so it stalls it. Here we go. Switch her off. And listen. My hands are lovely now. Oops, left the bike on. Elton's famous son, Mick Andrews. Twice European Motorcycle Trials champion in the early 70s. 5 times winner of the Scottish 6 Days Trial. Grew up in this very village. Attended this village primary school. First developed his skills as a trials rider here at Burrycliff Quarry, which is behind me. Subsequently worked with 2 motorcycle companies designing the Osamar Mick Andrews replica and the Yamaha TY. There he is. Signed. Man himself. Look at this. Yeah, that is a mega bike. It looks as good as it sounds. Actually, no, it doesn't look as good as it sounds. It looks beautiful. It looks very, very, very good, but nothing's as good as how it sounds. I love all this tubular framework as well. Just makes it look bad. Don't mean bad as in I mean bad as in badass. I need to get a move on, folks. It's bloody cold sitting here. Oh no. Oh no. It's like one of them games. What's them games called where you used to have to move the little blocks to get you know, to get one to go to the goal. You had to slide all these little tiny plastic squares. Can you remember? What are they called, them? You had like a little game about this big, and you had to slide the squares. You have to move a square, move another one over there to get this one to its ultimate position. Can you remember it? I'm starting to get to that point where my body's shutting down because I'm that cold. Oh, these gloves. When you leave them switched on and then pop your hands back in. I just took them off to do a couple of photos, and then you stick them back on. It's like putting them in the bath. Look at this. Lovely little spot this is. Properly old. Thanks for joining me today, folks. I hope it's been a much more enjoyable experience with the nice sound. I'm sure the tone of this bike is coming through lovely on this camera. I think I'm going to go out there and say that this is the best sounding bike I've ever ridden. Absolutely phenomenal sound. Thanks for watching all. I really appreciate it. I'll see you soon. Look after yourselves. Be good. Be careful. And be kind. Spring's coming. I can smell fresh cut grass and cow shit.